All right, I must say that things are happening in the grant ecosystem. Things are really happening. Solution is what we need, and this is an information that talks a lot about the things that are happening in the grant ecosystem, and probably providing a solution to what uh, will bring about disbursement. And pay attention and read in between the line as you listen to this particular PN. Don't forget to subscribe and share this piece of information. The comment section is open for a mature and robust discussion. Have a great day and bye for now.
I welcome everyone to this important update that I want to give to us on this channel, and I think it's quite so important for us to get some definitions straightforwardly, some questions that are quite disturbing. We want to address them, and some important information that is necessary for our field at a time like this. It's very important, very important. So I thought it wise that we need to bring this to our knowledge and understanding as we expect the disbursement. And I think I'm very quite so relaxed to give this evening. Every one of us need to know this as we are in expectation. Agitations are high. There's no doubt about that. But then we still need to understand one or two while the disbursement aches. So having said that, the most critical aspect of the grant we're in expectation of will happen to be the mandate holder, that is the authorized mandate holder, who is the country director, Apostle Professor Ken, the official country director, and the sole authorized signatory to the Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU, regarding this grant disbursement. The country director, despite his silence over time, I want you to know that he holds a legal mandate to sign, to also facilitate and to authorize the distribution of this fund to the general public. I want to reiterate that very cleanly. Now, to some of us, precisely, this might not mean too much, because just what we expect now at a time like this is just a fund. But there are some paraphernalias that surrounds our expectation. There are certain things we need to understand concerning the country director. He is the sole person who holds the legal mandate to sign, to also facilitate and authorize the distribution of these long-expected funds to the general public. It's also important to recognize that the country director's role is not just the administrative part of it, but also the highly accountable part of it. In other words, he is highly accountable to every fathom of fund that is disbursed. So as the mandate holder, he bears the responsibility to report directly to the donors. And how does he report? He has to give a comprehensive, a wholesome and holistic account of how these funds are going to be disbursed, or how the funds were disbursed if after they have been disbursed. Then to whom? I hope you get that. To whom the fund was disbursed to, and for what purpose? Who were the real beneficiaries of the fund, and what was the purpose of the disbursement? Now, this would ensure that the donor remains fully informed and confident that their financial support to a country like Nigeria is being put to good use. Imagine if the country director just give this as an oversight and possibly flippantly just oversee these affairs, and the fund is diverted or does not reach the intended beneficiaries. It's going to be a serious backlash. Yes, it's going to cause a major damage. You might have received the fund, but it is useless. Not to you, but the process by which you were supposed to get it, it's not been put to good use. And that would further blacklist the country in receiving further assistance in the nearest future. So the grants implementation and distribution are solely under the jurisdiction of the country director, Apostle Professor Ken Nwakama, as mandated by the donor. The donor mandated that he has to be a sole custodian. He has to be a jurist who is holding tenaciously to how this fund is allocated to the masses. So therefore, no other entity or individuals has the right to disburse or to claim ownership of this process. It's only Apostle Ken Nwakama. All right, just don't walk away. All right, just stay with me. I'm going to be with you in a moment. All right, welcome back. Just took a little break there, just for us to have to sip a cup of coffee, a little, or just some drinks up there. Then we could continue with our iteration and familiarity. And then, so where we stopped last has to do with no other entity or individual has the right to disburse or claim ownership of the process. It is only in the hands of the country director. So this singular accountability would help to maintain clear lines of responsibility, and thereby it would minimize the risk of fraud. It will minimize the risk of mismanagement or unauthorized interference of any kind. Now, the presence of the donors in the country, the presence of the donor still within the country, Nigeria, is still having some level of credibility and assurance of this process. You understand? Or to this process. Now, it is the fact that the donor is present in Nigeria that gives it more credibility. And this presence of theirs underscores the seriousness and dedication to the disbursement process. In other words, the donor's involvement directly within the country demonstrates their commitment also to overseeing the grant success and ensuring that the intended beneficiaries, which is you and I, receive the funds as purported and planned. Very important. So the presence of the donor still in the country, in Nigerian soil, it's a measure to facilitate direct communication, verification, and monitoring of the entire process. And this makes the entire operation more transparent and also reliable. This also reinforces the commitment of making this grant a reality, providing hope to countless individuals who stand to benefit from it from every quarter. Yes, it is worth acknowledging that the unified effort of all stakeholders who are involved, the country director, Apostle Professor Ken, the UAAG body itself, the Sanctuary Wealth Multipurpose Foundation, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and the Central Bank of Nigeria, who are assiduously and collectively working tirelessly to ensure the proper handling and distribution of the grant. Such collaboration is highlighting our commitment to transparency, honesty, and integrity in public service and financial management, as we all know that. This grand undertaking is a proof to us that all these parties involved, they aim to create a positive and lasting impact on the lives of many Nigerians. So it is only fitting to applaud their effort. You might not like to hear this precisely. It is fitting, but it's fitting to applaud their efforts and also continue to support the ongoing process, that they have started all along. Very important. Now, why this was actually brought up is because there were certain individuals who are still asking some salient questions about, they are still confused about the functions of the IMF, the CBN, the government NGO, and the UAAG precisely. And I'm going to shed a bit of light on that just crucially, so that we can know what all of these things actually for. Apart from the signatory and the mandate owner, who is the country director who oversees all of these affairs. And that is possibly one of the reasons why we still have delay right now in disbursement. A lot of voices have been in the air talking about their predictions, the dates and the time, and I just don't know what Madam Ngozi Israel will say right now by the time she comes out next time to speak to the public, because she was so straightforwardly to say that a 28th disbursement would happen, and today is the 4th day after that assertion. Nothing has happened. Of course, she will still have to come out in confidence to tell us what we need to know and where we are. But first and foremost, our desire to seek clarity on the matter is commendable, and is also reflecting our commitment to staying informed. A lot of questions have been asked about what all of these factors represent. It is crucial to have a comprehensive understanding, especially when dealing with something that is so significant as a financial grant that has the potential to positively impact on countless lives, just like the Sanctuary Wealth Multipurpose Foundation. So your curiosity and willingness to know how all of these things spells is highly commendable. The breakdown of the process, the rules, the key players, the effective distribution process is going to guide you through this particular understanding by the time I begin to explain. Now, the most fundamental aspect of this issue, the nature of the fund itself, it is vital to understand that this fund is not a loan. What we're expecting is not a loan, it is a grant. And up till now, we are still expecting not a loan, but a grant. And this distinction is very crucial, because a grant signifies that the funds are given without the expectation of you having to repay back nobody. So it is a gesture that is aimed at empowering and uplifting communities or individuals without burdening them with financial obligations that they have to attest or adhere to. It is a gesture, a free gesture. You know why they're paying right now in the ecosystem is because what appears to be the grant, or what is expected to be grant, investment is coming from people into them. I don't know how to explain that. When people had to pay for grant, when it was supposed to be granted them on a free volition. Why the pain is much right now is because the thing has been encircled or boycotted from what it was meant to be. The real way it was meant to be, the real pathway this particular issue was meant to was that you submit your credentials and expect to be granted the grant. But the reverse seems to be the case, because when people submitted their details, then some other persons have to pay, and they pay handsomely. So the pain is there, that I invested handsomely. Why will I not get handsomely? So handsome investment requires handsome payout. Grants are typically designed to support social and economic development, humanitarian aid, or community-based projects that require some funding to make a tangible difference. Unlike loans that has the capacity to accumulate interest and also demand repayment, grants are awarded based on merit. It's also awarded based on needs or specific objectives. So in that vein, the recipients are not burdened with any form of financial liability or obligations. Now, the role of the Central Bank of Nigeria, one of the key stakeholders in this disbursement process, is the Central Bank of Nigeria. And it is imperative to recognize that the Central Bank plays a pivotal role as the custodian of the grant funds. In other words, they keep the funds. As the central monetary authority of the country, the CBN has the infrastructure in place, the expertise, and the fiduciary. There's what is called the fiduciary responsibility that is meant to manage large sums of money efficiently and in a way that is well secured and structured. Now, the bank's primary responsibility in this context, which is the CBN, is to hold the funds in a secure and very regulated environment. And this is very crucial because the credibility of the grant process heavily relies on the integrity and transparency of financial management system like the banks. So the CBN ensures that the grant funds are not misappropriated or mishandled. They maintain both local and international trust. But however, it is also important to know that while the CBN safeguards and manages the funds for us, it does not own them. The CBN does not own this fund. In fact, to a certain extent, they don't have the full vetoes over this fund. The grant itself does not originate from the Central Bank of Nigeria, nor is it a product of the bank's financial policies. Instead, the bank's role is strictly custodial and administrative. It functions as a trusted repository to hold and release the funds when the authorized directives are given. So they're just holding that, just like for instance, you have Jesus Christ that came in through the womb of Mary. And I can tell you sincerely that just like Jesus could attest that Mary was there was no way Mary could have born God. Mary was just a womb that was borrowed, to bring Christ into the world. So there was no way Mary has the vetoes or authority over Jesus Christ. You could remember one time that Jesus was teaching, and he was teaching, and his disciples were listening to him, but Mary wasn't there. And some of his brothers, you know that Jesus had other brothers apart, after he was born. There were other children, or let me say, other siblings that Mary gave birth to. You understand? So Mary had to approach Jesus and say, well, I and your brethren or brothers or something like that, we've been looking for you since, and you were here. And Jesus had to tell Mary and say, who are those of my brethren? Say, they are those that listen to my words. Then at the cross, you could see when Jesus was being crucified and was hanging there on the cross, and Mary was crying so bitterly, and John the Beloved and other ones too were crying there, and Jesus had to tell Mary and say, behold, pointing to all of the siblings, say, behold thy son. So Jesus Christ was not actually the son of Mary. He was, you understand? It's just like the custodian. So the position is administrative and also custodial at the same time. Then the IMF, who are the supervisors, in other words, their function is more of supervisory role. The International Monetary Fund, they have a significant part to play in this process. As a globally recognized financial institution, the IMF's role is primarily one of supervision and oversight. They oversee the entire process. The IMF appoints representatives who are tasked with monitoring and also managing the proper utilization of the funds. That is why you see them going up and down, just to ensure that these funds are clearly supervised. So the responsibility lies in ensuring that the disbursement is conducted according to international standards of transparency, of accountability, and of efficiency. So their involvement also serves as a means of maintaining international credibility and compliance with financial regulations. Nevertheless, it is equally crucial to understand that the IMF does not also own the grant. Their role does not extend to controlling the funds, but rather to ensure that they are disbursed and they are utilized in a manner that is consistent with the objectives that is outlined by the donors and the local implementing agencies. Very important. Very important. So, having said all of this, on a final thought, I hope that this comprehensive explanation provides us with the clarity and understanding that we need to know as we expect the disbursement. It is essential for us to stay informed and also be aware of how such crucial financial matters are being handled. So let us remain so patient. Let us remain very vigilant and also supportive as the process unfolds before us, knowing that every effort is still being made to ensure a smooth and transparent disbursement. If you have some more questions, you are free, or you need some more clarifications, you are free to put them in the comment section. Please do not hesitate to always reach out to us. Your curiosity is vital, and staying informed at a time like this empowers you to share accurate information with others who may also have similar concerns. Once again, good job to the country director, good job to the Sanctuary World Multipurpose Foundation, good job to the IMF team, and good job to the CBN for their dedication onwardly to ensure the successful management of this grant and expectation in awaitement. And let us continue to support them with positivity and encouragement as they carry out this noble task. It is noble indeed.